Hey y'all, welcome to our weekly meditation series. My name is Martin Benson and really happy to be here to share these practices with you. Today we're going to focus on compassion practice or loving kindness practice. And it's said in the meditative path that there are two wings to the path. You have the wisdom and then you have the compassion. And that a practice isn't sufficient or complete unless you have both things working. And for a long time, for many years in my own practice, I was getting kind of negligent to the compassion side. I was getting so caught up in the concentration aspect of meditation and the wisdom aspect of meditation that my practice started to become like very rigid. And I noticed it became sort of mechanical or robotic. And it wasn't until I started to weave in compassion practices into my daily routine that my practice really started to evolve at a much bigger rate. My heart started to open and soften, and I started to really firsthand realize that these practices are incredibly valuable, just as valuable, if not even more valuable than sometimes the concentration and the wisdom practices. And the reason for that is because we live in a time where compassion is needed more than ever. We need to soften the hard corners of our hearts to be able to not only be vulnerable, to look inside and see those sort of vulnerable areas, and then be able to connect with people who are different than us, or connect with people who think differently. In this hyper-polarized environment that everyone's experiencing, compassion is really the antidote for helping you get out of your own self-delusion, for you to open your heart and to be able to listen deeply to what it's so hard to hear. And so for me in these practices, one of the essential components that was difficult for me in the beginning was to be able to shine compassion on people who think very differently than I do, who come from very different places and circumstances than I do. And what it's allowed me to do is to see beyond the veil of our own sort of choices, our politics, our appearances, to see that deep down underneath all this sort of strata of identity, that there's basic goodness in everybody. There's basic goodness in every single person on this planet, and that everybody wants the same thing. The Dalai Lama said something, to paraphrase the Dalai Lama, that all people are looking for happiness, and everything that they do comes from this desire for happiness, even if it feels very diluted in terms of how they're approaching their pursuit of happiness. But on the fundamental level of life, that's what we all want. And these practices help us open to that reality within ourselves to see our own basic goodness. And it's when we can really see our own basic goodness clearly and fully that we can start to see it in other people. It's easy to see it in people that we love. It's a little bit easier maybe to see it in strangers, people we don't really know. But it's really hard to see it in people who kind of butt up against our sort of perspective on the world. And those people, just as much as the people we love, just as much as the people we're indifferent to, need to have that light of compassion shone upon them. To be able to look beyond, again, the politics, to look beyond the appearances, to see that compassionate state, even if we incredibly passionately disagree with some people, which you're allowed to disagree. But when you're communicating with people, if it's not coming from a place of compassion and understanding of that fundamental goodness, no dialogue can ever be effective. So in this tumultuous time where change is needed, where we need to shine the light on the shadows of the unconscious in our society, we need to bring compassion, because that's the only way an effective dialogue can happen and that real change can take place. We have to confront what we're fearful of confronting. And in my experience, these compassion practices or loving kindness practices give us the inner fortitude to go into those spaces that are deeply uncomfortable, to go into those conversations that we're afraid to have. We're afraid to say the wrong thing, or we're afraid that we're going to say something hurtful, or we're afraid that we're not going to make any progress in those conversations. Whenever the fear is around it, when we have a stronghold on our own inner goodness and our own compassion, it's going to give you this sort of energy and quality in the mind and the body and the heart to be able to communicate your truth in the most effective way so that it can be received. Because no matter how truthful and how perfect your response may be, if it doesn't come from a place of compassion and understanding and open-heartedness, it's all for naught, right? So these practices, I feel, can help us develop that inner strength to go into those dark places, to have those hard conversations, to be able to engage in dialogue with people who think very differently than you might think or come from very different places than you've come from, so that we can find a way to actually communicate. Because when communication isn't happening, that's where aggression comes from, that's where resentment comes from, that's where fear comes from. And so we need to find ways to have authentic and honest communication. And that begins with feeling that sense of basic goodness within ourselves so that we can start to see it become uncovered in all the people that we come across in our lives. So we're going to do a metta practice. It's a loving kindness practice. And the way it works is you repeat these specific phrases. And now, just so you know, it doesn't matter if you remember the phrases perfectly. It's the sentiment, it's the heart, it's the emotion that matters behind them. So if you get the words wrong sometimes, don't worry about that. But there are these specific phrases that we say. So we call upon a specific person. So instead of focusing our compassion on all people, it's more effective when we focus it on single people, people that we can visualize as if they're sitting in front of us. And we repeat these phrases to them. The phrases are, may you be safe. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. May you awaken in this life. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering. And you just repeat these phrases over and over again, imagining that person in front of you, whether it's your child, your mother, your spouse, your neighbor, your best friend, whoever it is. We start with someone that we really are close with. And you can add little layers of visualization to it if that is helpful for you. Sometimes what I like to do is imagine as I'm visualizing this person sitting before me and I'm repeating these phrases, sending these sentiments to them, I imagine them smiling. I imagine them kind of glowing in light. That might be helpful for some of you. If it's not, just focus on those phrases and then that emotion, that heart quality when you're doing it. So we start with somebody that we love, and then we go to somebody that's more neutral, right? Maybe a stranger or the checkout person or your Uber driver or someone you walked by on the street earlier when you were walking your dog, or somebody that you don't really know. You just call upon somebody from recent memory and you send those same sentiments, those same phrases to them. And then after that, you call upon somebody who is difficult, who makes you angry or makes your life hard, or you have resentment toward or frustrations with, somebody who challenges you a lot in your life, and you call upon them too, and with the same sentiment, with the same open-heartedness, with the same authenticity, you send that love to them. Now that part of the practice is really hard. And so in the beginning, sometimes the phrase, you fake it till you make it. In the beginning, just repeat them and just try and just try. And then eventually over time, you'll start to get that crack open and really feel it. So I'll guide you through this process, through the phrases. And again, it doesn't matter if you repeat the phrases perfectly. It's the sentiment, it's the heart quality that matters the most. But before we begin, let's get in our comfortable posture. So you can pause the video, grab a chair, grab whatever cushions, blocks, blankets, whatever it is you need to be comfortable. And make sure you get real sturdy in your seat so that you're nice and supported, your hips are grounded, your spine is upright, your head is lifting but not being sort of forceful and rigid about it, but using just enough of the musculature in the core and around the spine, just enough to keep you upright. You can place your hands on your knees or clasp them in your lap. You can close your eyes too if you'd like, or just keep your eyes softly open. And we'll begin with some mindful breathing, and then I'll guide you and instruct you through the compassion practice. So just begin feeling the breath in your body. Unhinge your jaw. Allow there to be some space between the teeth. Relax the cheekbones and the skin on the forehead. Allow your shoulders to relax downward. Just for a few moments, just commune with your breath. You can watch your belly rise and fall, or you can just feel your breath right at the base of the nostrils, coming in and out of the nose. Just breathing in and out, feeling your body, feeling your breath. And then go ahead and call to mind somebody who you love dearly. I'm sure we all have plenty of people in our life that we love, but just think of one particular person right now. And just imagine them sitting before you. Picture their face. Sometimes it's helpful to picture some details like the clothes that they might be wearing right now. And just see them seated right in front of you. And just in your own mind, internally repeat these phrases over and over again. Imagining that each time you say these prayers and well wishes, that the person you love looks lighter and happier. Perhaps they're glowing. Say, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. And just over and over again, repeat those phrases. Visualizing that person that you love right there in front of you, receiving those prayers, receiving those sentiments. And feeling those intentions, those prayers coming straight from the heart. Perhaps you might even feel that area in the body and concentrate on that area in the body as well. Allowing the breath to just move naturally on its own, so no need to breathe in a particular way. Just may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. And just continue repeating those phrases over and over and over again. Each time maybe uncovering a deeper quality of emotion, of heart-centered connection. Seeing that person right before you become lighter and happier, as if a weight has been lifted off their back. Seeing them radiant, peaceful, as you wish them happiness, health, safety, and freedom from suffering, over and over again. And then if you forget the phrases or you become distracted, just the moment you notice, just come back to may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe from harm, may you be free from suffering. And each time just feeling a deeper and deeper quality of love and compassion, of openness toward this person. Seeing the basic goodness within them. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. Now imagine them just fully receiving those blessings. Imagine them fully embodying them in their appearance. And then call to mind somebody neutral, somebody you're indifferent about, a stranger, a delivery person, a grocery clerk, a passerby. Imagine them sitting right in front of you. And begin repeating those same phrases with that same quality of love and sentiment that you've shown upon the person that you love dearly. See if you can cultivate that same quality toward this person. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. Just seeing them right there in front of you, receiving those blessings. Letting those sentiments come straight from the depth of your heart. Sincerity and authenticity. Wishing them happiness, health, safety, and freedom. Just over and over and over again, repeating those phrases, visualizing them as they become lighter, more calm and peaceful. Acknowledging their basic goodness underneath all the layers, down to the essence. Repeating the phrases over and over again, shining that light of love and understanding, solidarity and compassion toward this individual. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. Continuing to visualize them right there in front of you, looking right at you. Again, details sometimes are helpful in visualization. Notice the clothes they're wearing, the way they're wearing their hair, textures, colors. Just continue wishing them happiness, health, safety, and freedom. Over and over again. Coming straight from the depth of your heart. Penetrating through the layers of identity to the core of their being. Now see them fully receiving those blessings. And then call to mind somebody difficult in your life. Somebody who makes it hard to love. And see them seated right there before you, looking right at you. And continue sending them the same quality of love and care wishing them happiness, health, safety, and freedom. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. Over and over again, seeing them in a peaceful and calm state, perhaps smiling as they look at you, and you send them these blessings. To be able to see this individual beyond the layers of their actions and identities, back down to the ground of their being, this basic goodness. Seeing beyond the delusions, the confusion, seeing beyond the story, sending them love to the depth of their being. Sending them love and understanding. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. Just continue to visualize them seated right there before you, receiving those blessings, receiving those wishes of loving kindness. And if this becomes difficult for you, try not to run away from the difficulty, but investigate what's happening. If there's resistance, investigate where's the resistance and why. Compassion takes the most strength. The ability to see through the story. Be able to see how this person became this way in your life. To also acknowledge the things that you can't see or know. And to still offer them happiness, health, safety, and freedom. With that same quality that you shine upon the people you love or the people you don't even know. This takes courage. Be courageous. Send love to the people who perhaps need it the most. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. And now imagine them receiving the fullness of those sentiments, of those blessings. And then see all three of those people that you sent your loving kindness to today right there in front of you. And one more time, send one final blessing to all three of them at the same time. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. And now imagine yourself there right in front of you. And for the next few moments, just send yourself those same blessings. Sending the same sentiments of loving kindness to your very self. A lot of times, this is the place we overlook the most. We each deserve our own love just as much as everyone else deserves our love. So for the next moment or two, send some final blessings to yourself. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from harm. May you be free from suffering. Imagine yourself glowing with happiness and peace. And then slowly guide your hands together and prayer them at your heart. And offer all of these blessings to all sentient beings. May all beings near and far, big and small, visible or invisible, human or unhuman, may all beings without exception be free from suffering. You can slowly open your eyes, make little movements in the body. Thank you all so much for joining me today in this practice. A helpful tip for those who are practicing on their own. At the end of a meditation session, spend at least 2 to 5 minutes doing this kind of practice. And notice how at the end of your practice, when you bring this compassion, this intention of loving kindness in, how it transforms your whole day. And then perhaps you might be able to bring the same wishes of loving kindness to the people you interact with on a daily basis. And just see how that makes you feel. See how the quality of the connection you have with others is increased through this kind of practice. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day.